1837, events in Lower Canada take a fateful turn. For the Patriot, the rejection of the 92 resolutions is the final straw. They now carry the debate out of the Assembly and move toward open defiance of the government. The first step is to organize massive public demonstrations. The protest movement reaches its climax that fall at the Six Counties Assembly. "5,000 people gather at Saint-Charles in the Richelieu Valley. They have come to hear the colony's greatest orator, Louis-Joseph Papineau.
Concitoyens, confrères d'une affliction commune, vous tous, de quelque origine, langue ou religion que vous soyez, à qui des lois égales et les droits de l'homme sont chers, nous vous sollicitons de prendre, par une organisation systématique, dans vos paroisses et vos townships respectifs, cette attitude qui seule peut vous attirer le respect pour vous-même et le succès de vos demandes.
Papineau is emboldened by the groundswell of revolutionary fervor around him. He urges the Patriots to elect their own local officials, in effect to begin setting up an alternate government.
Assemblez-vous et élisez des magistrats pacificateurs, à l'exemple de vos frères réformistes des deux montagnes, pour protéger le peuple contre la vengeance de ses ennemis.
Never before has Papineau gone so far. But for the most radical, it is not far enough. Dr. Wilfred Nelson of Saint-Denis, one of the English Canadians to join the Patriot, calls for armed insurrection.
Eh bien, moi, je prétends que le temps est arrivé de faire fondre nos plats et nos cuillères en étain pour en faire des balles.
Cyril Hector Côté, a doctor from Napierville, is even more blunt.
Moi aussi, je prétends que le temps des discours est passé. C'est du plomb qu'il faut envoyer maintenant à nos ennemis.
In Montreal, the English party is mobilizing too. Peter McGill, president of the Bank of Montreal, speaks to a crowd of 4,000 people.
We must admit their constitutional right to meet and discuss, and to petition and remonstrate if they feel or fancy themselves aggrieved. But any and all of them who overstep the bounds prescribed by the laws in doing so, who outrage the feelings of loyal and well-disposed peaceable citizens by overt acts verging on rebellion, ought to be made to understand that such conduct can be no longer tolerated with impunity.
The Bishop of Montreal urges the Patriot to stop before it is too late.
Have you ever given serious thought to the horrors of civil war? Have you ever imagined the streams of blood flooding your streets and countrysides, and the spectacle of the innocent caught up with the guilty in the same awful web of disaster? Have you considered that, almost without exception, every popular revolution is a bloodthirsty act?
In Upper Canada, Mackenzie gives up all his expectations of Great Britain. London's rejection of the demands of the Patriot is the final blow.
People of Upper Canada, Canadians, fellow colonists, behold the oppressors! In order to...
Inspired by the example of Lower Canada, Mackenzie begins mobilizing his own supporters.
If the British Kingdom can tax the people of Lower Canada against their will, they will do so with you when you dare to be free!
For weeks, Mackenzie travels the countryside north of Toronto. His message strikes a chord among discontented citizens. They've been demanding schools, roads, and bridges for years, to no avail.
Who would not have it said of him that as an Upper Canadian, he died in the cause of freedom? To die fighting for freedom is truly glorious! Would you live and die a slave?
Mackenzie is tireless, organizing more than a dozen public meetings and speaking at them all.
3 cheers for Mr. Papineau and his gallant countrymen! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip!
He wants to convince the government that the people want reform
And now I give you William Lyon Mackenzie!
and that they support the Patriot in Lower Canada.
People of Upper Canada! People!
Bit by bit, Mackenzie edges closer to open rebellion. His supporters begin training with weapons. And the authorities are quick to sound the alarm. John Macaulay, the Surveyor General, has little doubt where this will lead.
In the rear of the town, the disaffected meet in squads with arms and are drilling, and I have no doubt they are in correspondence with the Lower Canadian malcontents. The time may not be far distant when our muskets may again bear requisition, not in foreign but civil war. The Papineau and Mackenzie faction seem almost infuriated, and I do not see how matters can end but in a resort to arms.
But higher authorities believe the real threat is in Lower Canada, so the entire British garrison is sent there. By the late autumn of 1837, not one professional soldier remains in Toronto.